Right.
If you want to do both to be on the
It's
safe
recording,
side,
so
okay. Do you
Okay,
want to
so-
do it both just to be on the safe side since we know, just in case, since we know it's not live streaming and we know it's not there? I mean, I would prefer
it
that.
doesn't, it's not giving me that choice. I can also do
Okay.
it on Facebook, but I don't
No,
have.
I think this is fine. I think it should be totally fine. Okay. So
So this is our work session, Saturday, August 8th. And are we ready? We're ready to start. Well, let's see, what time is it?
8:05.
So I guess Joe is not present. Go ahead. Mayor Hughes is here, Councilman Benedetti, Jean Hollins is here, Councilman Wolf, and Councilman Berger. And Dave McNamara was on, but he's not. Oh, yeah, Councilman McNamara, sorry, didn't see his face. Oh, okay. And Eric Fisher. All right, so we have, does anyone, before we go to do the usual agenda thing, and does anyone have anything to declare right now? They have to be, Mayor Hughes has already said that she needs to leave pretty quickly. Does anyone else have time constraints they want to declare right now?
I actually do not, because my work schedule is a little bit different this week. So you'll get the full 2 hours of me.
Well, I hope that's good news for you.
Yeah. Yeah, just a random change in the week's work. That's all.
Right. I did send out the agenda yesterday or last night. I was late. Apologize for that. The first thing that we do then is just to review what's going to be in the council meeting. And so I can share a screen, or we can just go through it if you have it on your computer.
I was going to go, I was
Yeah.
going to give you guys a rundown real quick because I got to go in like 10 minutes. So if you guys want some updates from me, you're going to have to get my updates of before the agenda.
Okay, so we'll scroll down to the administrative section and go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm not doing it based on your agenda. I just have a whole list of stuff. The tax levy is going to be on the ballot. Franklin County Board of Elections does in fact have it on the website. We do have 2 leaf bids. I believe I sent out the one already. I sent out the second one. If not, I will make sure, only because I got that one last night. I will make sure that you guys have both of those, and I will be working with Streets Committee on going over the 2 leaf bids and making a decision. Monday night, that is going to be in the legislation. It currently has X's because I don't know if we're going to decide before Monday night which one we're going with. So that's just kind of an FYI. So there's X's and there's no company listed on the current reading for the first reading, but it will definitely be there by the second. But if we start the readings now, shouldn't have to do an emergency. The new newsletter is at the printer. The food trucks and things like that are listed on there. The newsletter looks great. We'll see how it goes. If we don't like it, we'll put it back to the way that it was, but that's kind of where we're at right now. I did not get any updates from anybody for the newsletter. Again, I know that there's people in the neighborhood are talking about the newsletter and getting information and everything, but I need your guys' help to get me the information. I'm not getting any information from anybody. So I'm not throwing stones. I'm not doing anything. I know everybody's busy. 2 months in a row, I have asked, haven't gotten anything. Moving on, new website is up and running. It's going to be a work in progress because obviously we're starting from scratch. So everything that we want to upload and all of the changes that we've been doing are going to be there. One of the things that she's currently working on right now is like a maintenance form. So if anybody has like a maintenance type issue, a tree that needs cut down, anything like that, potholes, whatever. So there's going to be like a form that people can go and click on. It'll get emailed. That's something she's working on. But then also the code enforcement complaint. Concern complaint type thing. So people can actually go on there. Don't worry, they send plenty just directly to him, but not everybody has his email. So there's a couple little tweaks that we're working on that we know that we have been talking about that we want on there, and they are being worked on. Other than that, the website is there. If there's modifications, I've gone on there and played with it a couple times. Okay, where's this? Where's this? Where's this? So yeah, it's different, trying to get used to it. The biggest thing that I always remind everybody is this is not a custom website. This is the website template that we've worked with them. Becky's had 2 trainings. She's doing pretty well updating everything. There was still a couple things that she wasn't able to do. The girl helps her. The lady at the place has been helping her do anything that she can't do. And then she does some stuff behind the scenes, but she's done 2 training classes on that one so far. One was actually last week and one was like 2 weeks ago. The basketball court. Always going to hit this one probably for the next 10 years. I continue to get complaints daily for speeders. And last night at about 10 o'clock, I was told that there was still a group of kids there playing. So they asked if the basketball closes at dark. So Eric, this is for you. If we could get a sign over at the basketball court that just says closes at dark or closes at 10 or closes at 9, whatever you guys decide. If somebody
Closes at dark.
There you go.
Dark.
So Eric, if there's a way we could try to just ask MI if we could get 2, one for one side, one for the other. So at least we have an enforcement point to it. Because I don't believe there's anything that says it ever closes. It's open 24 hours in my opinion, if there's not a sign. And if not, Eric, if they can't do it, I think this is something that needs done ASAP. If they can't do it, just let us know and we'll figure it out because I
Well,
think
we probably ought to get the rules before.
well, I do
make
too,
time.
but I think closes at dark is probably the number one thing. So, I mean, that's and we have one that says closes at dark at the park. So I think really we just need the same sign over at the other place. And it's so, and
Well,
I don't
what I'm
disagree.
getting at is if you're going to make a sign, you ought to make one with the rules and closing the dark being one of them.
I know, but
We
when
did-
are you
we
guys
did-
going to have?
Yeah, we
We're in
did
the-
start a discussion
Yeah.
on basketball court rules in the last safety committee meeting, but we certainly didn't get far enough to say that we have a complete list. So if you want this now, closes at dark is definitely the first rule that we had on our list.
Yes.
But beyond that, right, we aren't prepared to proffer any additional rules.
And my concern with that is summer's in full swing right now. We're in August, so we only have August and September really that I think it's going to be used, maybe a little October. If we wait 30, 45 days to get it, I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
and either that or I'm gonna forward all you guys the complaints at 11 o'clock at night. And cause yes, my phone
That
goes off at
sign
11
isn't
o'clock
gonna
when I
do
get it.
that.
No, it probably won't, but then we can at least tell the police to go over there. So right now the police go over there and go, well, the park closes at dark, even though it's not posted.
Right.
Not everybody knows it closes at dark. So again, it's a learning thing. I went over to the basketball court just the other night before last, after my last 2 complaints, talked to them. They had everything cleaned up. It was not an issue. The amount of people continues to be a concern. I'm assuming the police made them move their cars because they were parked on both sides of the road. So that's just another thing for you guys to really start talking about. Again, there is a sign that says no parking on that side of the street, but I'm advising you guys, and this is just an advisement, I don't think anybody should be parking in that connector on either side. Just my opinion.
So to offer a different opinion, if there's cars on both sides, it's real hard to speed through there,
That's true. That is true.
right? That's
So-
actually something I've been thinking about bringing up in the next safety committee meeting, is actually allowing parking on both sides of the street
Okay.
in the
Well,
village in general, because that is a natural traffic calming effort, right? Because whenever there's a car parked on either side, you have to slow down to, naturally. And if they're parked on both sides, it'll actually force, in my without any additional analysis or talking to a traffic engineer, I think that would help with our speeders.
think
I
that's a
won't
good
disagree
idea.
with that. Well, I don't disagree with that, but here's the problem that you do have on Wildwood, and I know this because I travel Wildwood constantly. If there is a large truck that pulls up like a UPS driver, you physically can't get through there. If there's a car on one side and he doesn't pull up far enough, you have to sit there and wait.
Then maybe we can indicate specific areas where it's not allowed.
That'd be a good idea.
But
yes.
beyond that that was
Yes.
just a thought I threw out there while you were saying something else. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to
No,
interrupt.
no. Interrupt because again, my whole list is random just because that's the way that it always is. I've also, and just along with the speeders, this is just kind of an update for you guys because I don't forward you guys all the complaints and everything. But if you guys hear this, I just kind of wanted you guys to know. I've had somebody multiple times request that the police department put a their plan of action on Facebook. And then when we didn't do it, I got another request that they've requested this and they want to see the plan of action that we're taking on speeders put on the MPCA page by the, anyways, it was a request. We have had some people that, you know, believe that we should be on the MPCA page doing multiple things. That's not going to happen. It is not our form of communication. It's not our website, or it's not our Facebook page. So if you do get complaints from residents that we're not, that the admin and the police department are not fulfilling requests, I explained that I would not be fulfilling those requests. Brian, that one I may have actually sent to you. I know I sent you one because I'm not posting on a Facebook page how
Yeah.
we're gonna.
I actually addressed that with a resident at the pool yesterday. Someone was saying, well, the police should do this on this. I was like, no, because if the police communicate on the Facebook page, then that's where people think they communicate with the police. And we don't.
And it's already an issue.
Yeah. And that's not how that's going to happen.
I don't know
Right.
what exactly they expect to hear a report on what. I
Yeah.
mean, what they want to know.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
It doesn't, but people think that that's because it's a tool. And we do use it periodically. But the problem is people are tagging chief and people are tagging me and not calling the police. So
Right.
if you have an issue, you need to call the police. So I can't make that anymore. Here's the way that it needs to work. You need to call the police and then you can go to Facebook, you can tag me, you can do whatever. But the problem is I'm being tagged. Even though everybody thinks I'm on Facebook 24 hours a day because I get a message on my phone when it comes up. Yesterday, I was probably on there for 10 minutes because I have stuff. I am a normal person. Okay, so moving on from Facebook. The pool continues to do well. We should have some information from Kim by Monday. She's actually working on it this weekend. All of the finances, not just the pool. Starting on August 24th, the pool will be open from 4 to 8 p.m. The UTV just went under, we just took that in to have serviced. It did its 100-hour service. Again, I told you this is random. I'm just going in a circle. We will be meeting with MI on August 24th during our council meeting. Eric met with him the other day. I'm going to let Eric pick that up later, but hopefully you guys will hit that a little bit, but they will be at our August 24th meeting. And I expect a majority of the list that we sent over to them to be complete. If there are additional things that pop up or additional things that come up, they're not saying that we're not going to do these. These were just a list of the things that I've been complaining about, and you guys have been complaining about, residents have been complaining about for months. We are getting near the end. I will tell you, MI did send the $25,000 check and the deeds. They're in my possession. Actually, they're not. They're in the fiscal officer's possession now.
The 25,000 is for maintenance of the land.
Mhm.
Did we double check the agreement? Because my recollection was that was supposed to be 35,000.
No, we have not. And I don't
Can
know
you-
if it was 25 or 35, and that's between, and here's how I'm going to say this.
Mhm.
That's probably something between Eric and Jean.
Okay.
And I don't know that that was in a public meeting that was discussed, but we could check the minutes.
I'll check right now while we're.
Yeah,
doing
that,
this.
and my recollection could be wrong, but that was my recollection that agreement was 35,000.
And then just an FYI on that, they do, and Mark had asked this question, so I wanted to clear that up, and I do have an email. They do plan to continue to mow the grass through the year. So
Nice.
regardless if we take this 25,000, they're not done. We expect the final house to be done October 30th or 31st. But again, they will be giving you guys an update. So, and Eric has more information if you guys want to hit that later. But I really think I hit most of it. I did ask Eric, and Eric has asked MI about the pavement that leads into the community building, that little small stretch, the one that's all, mumbo jumboed. Obviously it's not free, but if we can get the family and friends discount, I'm in, because it's horrible. And I will tell you, that is a complaint that is above and beyond probably most of the complaints that we have, believe that or not. Every person that walks in there makes a comment that they're going to break an ankle. So
What are we talking about?
the pavement in where you park and walk up to the community building,
You talking about the sidewalk or the pavement?
it's
Halfway pavement.
well,
The parking
the
lot
path.
or the trail?
the little
Yeah.
trail path that leads up to the community building in front of where you park. So you park your car, you get out, you walk on the trail to the community building.
Oh,
There's
okay.
holes in it. There's legit holes in
Hmm.
it. You can see gravel underneath.
That's another one we may want to try to look for records, because I I swear I remember Lynn saying that MI had already agreed to do that at one point. Like
Well, we
shortly
also were
after.
told, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, we've been told lots of stuff. So I'm just,
Yeah.
that's why I say look for documentation. If there's none, there's none, but it's,
Perfect.
you know, it's worth
And
an hour's
yes.
look if it's going to save us $1,000, right?
or 10. So
Yeah,
I'm
or
not in
10.
disagreement, but we also thought we were getting fountains too, and that proved to be wrong. So, well, or maybe not. So Jean, if you could look at that, that would be amazing. And yeah, Brian would be the one to know that I don't even know that conversation ever even existed. So Brian,
I don't
that would be,
remember hearing that.
yeah.
I absolutely remember that. So
Okay. And then the last thing that I have, and this is just for your guys' information, we received, you guys know this, we received $66,000 in CARES Act money. The CARES Act money, whatever is not spent, gets sent back to them at the end of December. Obviously, we've spent a little bit of it. We have installed a new door in my office for Leah to be able to stand behind the plexiglass and be able to take money and do all of that. So there's a couple things that we've used the money for. In reality, we've probably used less than 5,000, maybe 10, but 10's really probably pushing it. We have hired a cleaning service that's going to start coming in once a month. They are going to start on the 13th of September because that's one of the things that can be done. It's going to be done on Thursdays because that's after court. And they are going to sanitize the building. They are going to, the first one when they come out, they are going to do a deep clean, deep sanitize, deep everything to where they get the 3 inches of grime off of the floors that are in the basement. So we have done that. That is going to be taken care of, 99% going to be taken care of from the CARES Act money because cleaning is one of the things that's on the list. Could they deny it? We don't believe that they would, but there is always that 1% chance. But here's what I'm going to say. That building has not ever had a deep clean. Maybe 10 years ago, it needs done. And if you worked in there, you would want it done too, at least a couple times. In the event, I don't know that this will continue, but we will continue it through the year.
can we prepay a contract into next year? I mean, why give away money if we can, if the money's spent, the money's spent.
Right.
I don't know the details of the CARES Act to know, like, but as far as I'm concerned, if we could prepay that through 2021 with that money, that's a fine use of that money in my opinion. That
is a great idea. And Jean, I will refer to you, and that's something that we can talk about. I know we did ask Jesse if he thought this would be a good idea. And again, it is going to talk about them sanitizing. They're actually leaving some additional sanitizer in there for us to be able to spray for, like, if somebody comes in the building and then we're notified and, you know, we're between cleanings, we will have something that we can do that as well. So I have the pricing. I have all of that. I don't have it in front of me. I will tell you guys how much it is. It's not an issue because, again, CARES Act is paying for it, but I don't have it. It's in the 400 range for the first time, and then it's in the 300 range thereafter because the first time is the deep cleaning. But it's going to be a deep cleaning every time, except for the first time is going to be way worse. So that's my quick thing. And now going back to the CARES Act money, one of the things that we had thought about, we don't know if it would fly. This is just to put in the back of your guys' mind. And I know Jean's on here. We've talked about airflow in that building. So one of the things that we are going to do is we are going to bring somebody out to talk about airflow, air quality in the building with the HVAC system. And seeing if there's something that we can do with that it could potentially work with the CARES Act money as well. And specifically, I know that we've even had council members that have said that they would prefer not to come in that building because of the air quality and the airflow in that building. And that is on the CDC recommendations, for buildings. So it may be a long shot. I don't know what anybody's thoughts are on that, because here's the problem. If we end up doing it. Well, here's the problem. If we end up going for it, so I will make sure you guys are fully aware, and the CARES Act, you know, when they audit it, they say, no, that's not a valid reason, then we pay for it. So I want to be blunt, and, you know, so it's I think, you know, I had talked to a couple people that believe that it's not that far-fetched. So we've had council people even say that they would prefer not to because of the quality of the air and because of the flow. So I have Atlas Butler coming out. I'm going to talk to them on Monday and set up an appointment. I've already talked to them twice. So I've called a couple other companies, and, you know, they were a little not really understanding what I was asking. So Atlas Butler knew exactly what I was talking about. So at least if I get the first company out there, because I believe they're probably going to be a little on the more expensive side, get an idea of exactly their course of action, then we can call somebody else and say, okay, how much would it be to do this? That way I can definitely do the 2 quotes or 3 quotes that you guys would prefer. Even though it potentially is our money, not our money, I would still rather do it right. So that's it. That's kind of what I wanted you guys to think about. Now, the other thing that I would throw out to you guys is if you guys have any other ideas of ways to make the community building better that is COVID related, that we could potentially do that, we're all ears. Other than hand sanitizer, and we don't really have any other thoughts yet as to what we could do with it. Obviously, we can't go putting in a sidewalk. Can't make that fly, sorry. Does anybody have any questions for me before I bail?
Thank you for the updates.
All right, I'm out. If anybody, hey Diane, if anybody has anything and you really need an answer for something, text me.
Okay.
His wedding's not till 11:30, but we're walking out the door to take him to the facility now. So text me if you need something.
All right.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Have fun.
Bye.
Okay. Do we need to take a break after that? All right. So let's go ahead and get started on the agenda. So we're going to review what's going to be at the council meeting on Monday. And do you want to just, Mark, go ahead and start with the legislation review?
There we go. Sorry, I'm on 2 screens, so sometimes I gotta struggle to get my little cursor over. Well, I mean, we're doing our 3rd reading on the changing of the appropriation. Sidewalk thing should get passed and put in. We got, as we were told, leaf pickup. The only real surprise thing is that the sick leave handbook change now apparently needs to be an emergency because we have someone who might need it.
Yeah. Okay, and there's the leaf pickup she talked about, which is the 1st reading, and then there's this new thing, amended development text, 1st reading.
I have not seen that.
That has to do with fences, I believe.
So the amended, I reviewed it, I had never read the whole thing, at least I don't remember having read it, so I read it last night. I didn't realize that I thought, what is this? And so then finally I came across the red highlighted part and realized it was, that must be it. Eric, do you want to speak to that?
Absolutely. Basically, as we've talked about in the past, there's been a lot of fence variance requests have been coming in from the new subdivisions. Specifically, those are on those corner lots because of the way the building lines are designed and the house is usually placed. So as the P&Z is recommended and council has gone along with on multiple occasions to date, roughly a halfway in between the 26-foot building line between the edge of right-of-way and the building line itself, we have proposed to fix the problem of nonstop variance requests by simply changing the code to an acceptable distance as has been previously approved. This will also make the 2 current variances moot by the time they get to you because they still, P&Z reviewed those as well. And by the time this gets to a 3rd reading, you would have likely had to have scheduled a public hearing and acted on the variances. So by potentially putting this into 3rd readings and then voting, if you voted by emergency, you'll be able to beat that out and there'll be no more need for variances. It'll be a straight code issue within the subdivision.
So, I'll share screen for just a second. So those of you who haven't had a chance to look at it can see it. So it's just, as I understand, it's this red part here, corner lot.
Correct.
Right. So, I don't know why, Eric, why didn't you suggest this before? I mean, this makes perfect sense. I mean, there's
Thank
so
you.
many
I'm
corner
glad
lots.
it makes perfect sense. It was not in the original development plan, and sometimes you have to see how things proceed in the new subdivision. And we've seen enough variances and seen enough of the appetite for simply granting those roughly around the 12 to 13 foot point. And here's my recommendation at this point.
Okay.
So I have one concern with this text in red. The definition being a corner lot is defined as a lot with 2 front yards. Each yard directly abuts a public street. That would define my lot as a corner lot.
Correct. If your lot was in the new subdivision. So
Oh,
you
so
are
this is only in the new subdivision?
correct. That is correct.
Okay.
We had a discussion about a wider ranging fence discussion, but that's going to take longer. This is more surgically applied to kind of handle these variances until such time that P&Z and council can come to a decision on a wider ranging full village fence reorganization with the code.
I would say that this is way premature, Eric. You know, like you just mentioned, is that we're going to have a wider ranging fence discussion, you know, and, you know, I realize, I appreciate what you're trying to accomplish here, but I think I think we should talk about the overall fencing issue instead of just piecemeal fixing, or I wouldn't even describe it, fixing the problem.
Well, all of this text is already in existence, and there's a lot in here. Sidewalks, it's
But
all
this
in
just
here.
this text just has to do with the new development.
Exactly. Well, this is what we've been using. Right? It's not, we're adding to what we've been using, and it's a large document to wait to see if you want to tweak and change the whole thing.
Well, all this does is eliminate the need for variances.
On corner lots, which is, why not?
Well,
I mean, if you look at the code enforcement, what the guy is doing, he's spending, if you looked at the code enforcement report, he spends at least 50% of his time on fences.
I know, that's what I'm trying to say, that this is a larger discussion. It's not.
If you can reduce, but this requires a variance on every corner lot. So this eliminates.
Every corner lot, if they want to build their fence out to the corner.
And obviously, we've been seeing these requests come in. So I would say, look, if the goal, as Tony has constantly talked about in the past, is to reduce staff time, P&Z time on these things, and council time, this will clearly eliminate these, because these are coming in regularly, and it seems like a pattern has been established. So if council
The only thing it's going to eliminate, it's not going to eliminate the need for a permit. You know, that's what I'm talking about with this whole permitting for fences thing. It creates huge amount of work and it can be done differently. And that's why I believe we need to have a conversation about fences in general. Instead of, I'm just one person. If you guys want to do this, go right ahead.
We have definitely heard Tony's concern. If people feel that we should hold off on moving forward on this to wait for the day that we get to a more holistic fence solution, speak now. If not, let's move forward with this, and we will get to a more holistic fence solution.
Would there be any reason that when we revisit this in the future that we couldn't simply add on to or amend the ordinance as it is now? I mean, we don't have to start from scratch, but we can solve some of the problem at least.
Correct. You can always amend and change and reorganize. There's nothing that says you can't do that.
Yeah, I totally get what Tony's saying. More wide-ranging, universal approach. But I mean, we can't let the perfect be the enemy of the pretty good, I suppose, is what I'm getting at.
Right. Or the perfect be the enemy of the timely, right? If this is a change that's needed now.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Because let's face it, even if we stopped everything else and started only working on a comprehensive fencing legislation, we will be done with that sometime in 2022.
Well, probably.
We can get it done by the end of the year if we just decide to vote.
I was being
who works on it. I
was being a little hyperbolic there, but we all know that none of this moves as quickly as we'd like.
Yeah, and if this is the problem, we do that, and let's face it.
I would just ask
Most
everybody
people are
to go
gonna
take
get
a
their-
look at the new development and see what you think about having the fences go out on every corner to 13 feet. I realize we've already approved one, but one of the members of the Planning and Zoning Commission was, was hesitant until they saw what this really how it would impact the neighborhood. And this was just a first reading. I thought you said you wanted
It
to.
is just a first reading. You're going to get
I
through
definitely,
legislation discussion
approve
still.
waiving
readings.
3 readings on that.
Okay. This document, Eric, also has, as I read through it, we were talking about was it 25,000 or 35,000? The 25,000 is in this document, by the way.
Right.
Correct.
It's in page 7 if you look just above that.
So,
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
it is 25. All right.
Yeah.
My memory is incorrect.
okay, I didn't want us to be passing something that had the wrong number up there in it, but it's already been in there, so.
Correct. It's already
that's
in there.
it. That's it. This is the official. Okay,
Correct. It was included in the text. Yep.
okay. All right, stop sharing. Okay, moving on. That's, okay, so that finishes legislation unless anyone has a comment. So the other things that are on otherwise the agenda has meeting minutes. So there's 3 meeting minutes we'll be voting on. FYI, if you get a chance to look at that. And then the code enforcement and safety report as usual are there to look at. Anyone have any comments about the, I don't know that we have any answers from this group, but any comments on that report? Okay. Moving on. Okay, moving on to streets. I don't know if Tiffany's not here. I'm not sure. She didn't mention any updates.
Well, there was a second leaf proposal, and I don't think we've gotten any response back from Mike about the storm sewers. He's still analyzing that information.
Okay.
Oh, I think there is.
Yeah, I put the note in here about the leaf. And then as far as the, I mean, this is just stuff I was hoping we could, and this is just, I think this is all still outstanding. We're not doing anything. We paused on Jasmine. We've, the legislation is done. And all the money has been moved over to the sewer. Now I have here, Jean is going to preparing a report to file a complaint with Franklin County regarding the repeated incidents at Jasmine. Is there any update on that? Is that?
That is just pending receiving the final report from the camera company.
I thought we did.
Float line. If you have, I have not received it. But yeah, we could use some information from that final report to update the complaint.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they've provided any more information. I haven't gotten any either, Gene.
Yeah, I don't think, we may not have received their actual final report with the photos and things like that yet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so anything else anything new on streets?
No.
Okay. All right. Communications. Obviously, the mayor talked about the website and Facebook. And we postponed the communications meeting to make sure Becky, we wanted to have the communications committee individually look at the Facebook page and bring comments to the meeting. So we postponed the meeting so everybody would have a chance to do that. And So we just need to now schedule the next communications meeting, and that's Joe's, that's his committee. He's not on today.
The one thing I'd like to see on that, on the website is a description of all the different things you need permitting for, like fences and sheds and whatever, I think there ought to be like a, just, I don't know what you just, how you, like it says minutes of the meeting. What do you call that little thing that says minutes of the meeting? Then it'll have, the main things that you click on. I don't know what you call like what you call those things.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
If we, that's the thing that I've been hoping for when it comes to the permitting, is all of that stuff be online and easily, found when it comes to all of that stuff. That's the stuff that I think we need to get on the website.
Okay. All right.
That's.
I thought some of that, it doesn't matter. I thought some of it was on the old site, but again, you're right. If it's that hard to find, then.
I do think that some of the information was aged as well. So I think that there was outdated information out there. So what we should do is, for certain, develop that information and then get it posted.
Right. I noticed that she transferred, just transferred stuff for the most part, even if it was aged.
Yeah.
So the framework is there, but now we have to go
fine-tune it.
Yeah, the actual information. So, okay. I'm really interested to see the new newsletter. I can't imagine having Inskeep do the design on their own and know where it's logical to put things. So it'd be really interesting to see how that turned out.
I imagine they've done more than a few of those in the past.
Well, they've saw the way Sharon had done it over the years. I can't imagine it being worse than that.
I look forward to seeing this new thing. I know this will be the first change I've been here for, so I'm looking forward to it. So
we'll find out. All right. Then community is next. We had the pool update from the mayor. I don't know if there's any baby pool update.
I have not heard a thing. With regards to community, Joe sent some interesting information on mucksuckers for dredging. However, with Joe not being here and his,
I just like to say for everyone's benefit is, we've been talking about hydraulic dredging is the most expensive way to go about doing this. And the problem in the past has been, where do you put the settling tanks or whatever, so I appreciate where Joe's going with this, but the thing that we're trying to do in the North Lake is to lower the water and excavate, not hydraulic dredging. That's so Joe.
That was my understanding as well. I would have preferred some.
I wanted to say, Joe, have you been paying attention?
Well, I think what the mayor was also said was they were discussing doing this in smaller sections. In other words, even though, yes, it does take a lot, this is the explanation I got. Yes, it takes a lot of space, which I also know it does, but they were willing to do it in smaller pieces at a time over a longer period.
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose I just would have preferred some more elaboration, because it was my impression as well that hydraulic dredging is very, very cost prohibitive. That being said, Mayor Hughes was very excellent in sending me a copy of the Franklin County Soil and Water lists of agencies who may be interested in helping us. However, I have not received a whole lot of info on what we're calling in particular, like the particulars we're asking about I would enjoy being able to help with that sort of thing. I just don't know exactly where she left off. That being
I think, yeah, I think without that, that is part of the problem is when you're not, you don't know what you want, and it's hard to ask for something when you're not sure what you even want to ask for.
exactly. I would really have enjoyed, or I would really enjoy being, more helpful, more useful. I feel like we're kind of spinning our wheels, and I'd like to
Yeah, we are.
do better than that. So that will be something I'm going to get in touch with the mayor about.
Well, I can
About
tell you
what
what
exactly
I can tell you what we're waiting on is for the lake to lower again. So that's what I haven't touched the drain to the lake. It's been going, and with the rain and that broken water line, it filled the lake back up. So
Yeah, that's
the
true.
point
That's
is
true.
to wait till it lowers, and then that list that from the soil management, that has some excavating companies
Okay.
that we can call out when the lake is lowered, because that lake got pretty low, and we didn't
It
even
did.
start
Yes.
to pump water out of it. And that's my vision, is that once it gets low, you can pump the water out and keep that thing dry,
Yeah, absolutely. I
depending
agree.
on the rain. And that's where we're at with
Yes.
the dredging issue.
Yes. Yes. I guess I just wanted to be in touch with them beforehand, so we're not trying to call them out that morning before rain
Oh
is
yeah, I'm with
predicted
you.
to happen. But that being said, the pool is going excellent. We have our 40-year veteran managing it, and Tony, myself, and the mayor went out at the beginning to hammer out the social distancing guidelines, and that seems to be going well. I've not heard of a single case happening from the pool. So overall, I'd say the community committee and its assignments are, I don't have anything negative to report.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Anything, let's see, community, anything else on community?
I would also like to talk more with Mayor Hughes about helping her with making some of these calls for the food trucks, because it seems like she's just got so much on her plate, and I'm trying to help offload some of that. But again, that's something else I'll get in touch with her about, maybe helping to split up the logistics of doing so at the meeting.
Okay. All right. Okay, then moving on to finance. We have as you know, we agreed to voted and agreed to move forward with the scores for the architect, and move forward with references, which I have not completed yet, and also confirm days for presentation. And I think, Eric, you have an update on the dates?
Yes, I sent out an email this morning, and that the 25th seems to be the date from the feedback we received that works for everybody. So that's a Tuesday, and tentatively we can say 6 to 8 p.m. for purposes of our, locking that in the calendar. That would give at least an hour for each group, up to an hour, whatever you guys choose from the final format standpoint.
And did anyone, what feedback do you have on the agenda format for me and Eric, so we can finalize it? Do you want me to share it?
Yeah, that might be helpful.
Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. So, it starts with an overview, just a brief. An hour goes really quick if you let them spend the whole time bragging on themselves, so it takes a while. So just based on the interviews we did with the last architect group, just starting with brief introductions all around, and then a brief overview of the architect's company, and the location. I think it's just important that the point here is not that they have to only follow this agenda. They can mix and match, but just so they hit the points that we want them to. Otherwise, we'll be asking them questions. So the location of the office and staff will be working on the project. The subs versus direct employees, how does that work for them? Qualifications of the designated designer. We found that since we ended up being a smaller project, they gave us a designer who really was pretty green, and that was frustrating because it took her like 3 tries to get it to where anything that we really wanted. And so we want to make sure we get someone who has experience with municipal design, and also, not designing something that looks like Frank Lloyd Wright, something basic. So, and what is your firm's design philosophy? That is just for them to say something, just general, whatever they want to tell us about themselves. And then for the project, show an example of combination administration and police building, and why do they think it works well, and what kind of feedback did they get after the project from when we went and visited facilities. We always asked, what do you wish you would have done, or what do you miss? Most of the time our answer was storage space. No one ever has enough storage space. That was one of the things but there were a few things on the police side that they mentioned that were good to know. So what did they think about their project after it was completed? What did their customer think about that? Please discuss the potential challenges with our project. And these are just so they know what we think the challenges are, just so we can cut to the chase here, is we understand that some of the challenges can be the budget constraints, the desired location. And I say this because some of the feedback we've gotten about the community building and the adjoining grassy area is, just in front, you've got all the utility poles in front, and the large trees. So you've got a lot you're working around when you're building on in that area. And so it is more of a challenge. And a lot of these buildings, especially they show them these pictures. If you notice, all of their best buildings are on some grassy field someplace with absolutely no obstructions. And so, pardon me?
I said I did notice that, yes.
Yeah. So, and then the desire to stage construction, meaning that we want to, if possible, we want to keep people in the building and not have to move them temporarily someplace else while the construction is happening, which is obviously an increasing cost. And then what other potential challenges do they see with the project? And this tells us if they even looked. One of the architects in the last presentation, they didn't even come out and look at the building before the presentation, which I think is kind of, doesn't say much. So then on the process, if we were to work with your firm, how would you approach the project? And how long do you estimate design process will take? Now, once we start talking about this, then we have to do it. I recognize the next two, we're really doing because there's a lot here, a time check. And it may be that we can't, if we want to stick to an hour, which is probably good, we do have to watch time on this, because this could turn into a larger discussion than maybe we want. The notes on the preliminary planning and concept design. We understand that they would want to meet with us, and sometimes they want to spend a lot of time talking about how they would meet with us, but we want to make it clear that we've had meetings already regarding requirements and we have documentation. And yes, we want to meet with them, but we're not starting from scratch. We want to make that clear. And then develop conceptual options for adding on to existing building and or constructing entirely new. I didn't know if we wanted to leave this in or not. I was assuming that since we're doing this, what we asked for when we did the original request was show us one where you're remodeling and building on, and one where you're doing entirely new. But you know, we have such a small budget, it's hard to imagine them being able to do anything entirely new for the budget the suggested budget we have. But anyway, that's still in there. And then what we want to, as a deliverable, the concept design that includes a site plan showing parking areas, floor plans, square footage, building massing, key renderings of the exterior of the building, not so key, you know, just what color might would it be stone or whatever, what color might it be? Not complete renderings of the outside, but just ideas, a couple ideas. And then cost estimate expectations. We do need to have a cost estimate. We can't say, oh, we really love that building, let's go forward, and then they give us a cost estimate that's, you know, $4, $5, $8 million. So we have to be in sync on this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then what should we anticipate per square foot cost range for the building? This they don't like to say, but we like to push it anyway and ask them.
I
And
think you ought to come up with a budget number, don't you?
well, the budget number we have, no, we have been using is the $1.4 million as our ceiling.
Okay.
So, and then just wrap up.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that is downright beautiful. I'm very, very happy about the idea of making sure that, you know, who's going to be working with us, who is going to be, you know, handling the project, you know, them versus contractors. How close are they? Their communication with us. Diane, that is some solid work.
Has this been sent to them, or are we
No,
saying
not yet.
send it?
No, we're finalizing.
Okay.
This may be a bit before my time, seeing as this was going on before I got here, but did we have like community input, like things they would like? Like is the community?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So and
we had several. Yeah, we had several workshops where we invited the community to come in and we asked questions and we, you know.
Excellent. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, people, you know, that our people had a chance to input what they wanted as well, because, you know, it's their building.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet now.
That's all right. Anything else? So Eric, can you go ahead and then use this, or is there any tweaking that you wanted to the document?
The only thing I would ask is if they're, you know, I'm assuming do you want me to send them this whole document, or do you want to make an edit for them to have to kind of follow as an outline? How do you want to proceed there?
I think they can have the document.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy to send it to them.
All right.
You know, the only thing I'd add, even with the $1.4 million ceiling, where I've seen projects really get difficult once you've bid them out and chosen a contractor, is how confident in this bidding environment and the timing of obtaining the materials that they need. How confident do they feel about being able to make a cost estimate and if they design a building and it's actually put out to bid and it comes in at 1.7, that's when the problems start to arise.
Right.
So I think we need to push them a little bit on their cost estimate process and making sure that they have a confidence level that whatever they design, because, you know, if they design something that costs 1.75 million, it costs money to go back through a bunch of details to then rein it in so you get it back to your $1.4 million, you know, cost level. So In this
Yeah,
environment, there's just enough unknowns. I'd push them a little on how confident they can be about bringing it in at 1.4, if that's your
Okay.
target.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So back to the, it's great. Thank you for that feedback, everybody. So back to finance then, the sewer fund has been moved, and so we're closing that task, and the document, yeah, okay. I've had a note in here about the 25,000, so I got that cleared up. And then in terms of levy, the only thing is I think that we really need to have some additional communication to make sure people are prepared to vote on this. It is not the best environment, obviously, right now to be putting something on a ballot, but this is a big deal, and it is a renewal. But I think that we need to keep putting it on every newsletter. I'm sure, I imagine it's not on this one, but I don't know, maybe it is. But other thoughts about that?
Then I'll make a yard sign of my own and put it in the front yard. Vote yes on issue. Do we know what issue number it is?
I don't think, well, maybe the administration knows. Do they tell you when you, they confirm your filing?
Yeah, they'll usually send
Yeah.
out a draft of the ballot language, but unless Eric knows different, I don't think we've received that from the Board of Elections yet.
Thought
We have not, to my
Tiffany
knowledge.
said that it was on the website. So hold on, let me see.
See if they've assigned
There
an
you go,
issue
Sean.
number.
Yeah. Issues filed. It does not have an issue number. It is on their website. It is in the what was this link? General election issues filed list. So they have it, but they haven't there is not an issue number assigned it yet. In
Right.
fact, none of the issues have, nothing on that list has a issue number assigned
I
yet.
think we just passed the deadline for getting stuff submitted for the November ballot, so they're probably closing that process and getting the numbers assigned,
Yeah.
probably here
Probably.
within the next week or two.
At their next elections commission meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, then we, finance, in the last, I don't remember who was in, what meeting we were in exactly, but we talked about the question of maintenance, moving, insourcing or outsourcing maintenance or parts of maintenance, and that's one of the master projects for the year. And we were thinking that maybe that project was assigned to streets, but we thought that streets was so busy that maybe we should, streets usually has a lot on their plate. Maybe we should move it to finance, since it is a great deal of it is a finance issue. Any thoughts? Anyone care one way or another?
I don't care one way or another.
Moving it to finance makes sense.
Yeah, I would say so.
Numbers on how much we spend on maintenance currently and trying to make a good decision on it.
Okay. All right. Is there, the next finance meeting is on the 25th of August. I'm sorry, the next finance meeting is on the 17th of August. I think it's, what was it? What did we decide, Mark? Was it 4:15 or 4:30?
4:30. I'm not sure if I'm on mute.
You know,
Okay.
4:30.
4:30.
Okay, 4:30. That's the 17th is a Monday. That's all I had for finance. Anyone have anything else for finance?
No.
All right, safety. Anything for safety?
We had a good meeting this month, or I guess that would have been in July. I guess the biggest outlying, what's the word I'm looking for? Outstanding item is we're still waiting to hear back from Columbus regarding fire. And I'm guessing if I haven't heard, we haven't heard. We will, I'll get something scheduled for the later half of the month to revisit some of the things we were talking about. We did bring up stationary, you are going this fast signs that we could put in a few strategic locations. Chief Delp was also looking into seeing, he was aware of another police group that had, sort of unmarked things that could actually collect speed data to see if we could identify whether or not there really is a speeding problem in the village. Yeah, and those were the, and then we'll also try to finish up a discussion regarding playground rules.
Well, and at that meeting, we also kind of looked at, that's what I'm thinking of, we looked at use of force and regulations for that. And just to say, the committee was essentially, I don't want to say, happier. We don't believe it to be a problem here in the village.
Yeah.
And we think their code makes sense and is reasonable, I guess.
Yeah.
You characterize that?
I would say yes. So that was the primary focus of the meeting, was looking at the village's police force use of force policies and de-escalation policies. We reviewed them, we discussed them with Chief Delp, and in the end, we were well satisfied with what we had in place.
And some of that was just because, they define use of force anytime you get non-compliance, and you have to, even if it's just grab the guy and force him into the handcuffs, would be a use of force incident. And they had 2 in the calendar year 2019 where they had to do that.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Do we want to talk some more about this basketball sign? Is this something that we want to escalate, or is it?
So I will agree that there needs signage so that the police can be called and show up and say, look, the park is closed. The basketball court is closed.
Right.
I agree that is, a need, whether or not we want to call it an emergent need that, the world will, I don't know how awful it is if that waits the 2 months it'll probably take us to get rules completely hammered out and ready to go, so that we can have a complete list of rules on a sign. So if people feel that we need that sign by the end of the week, then park closes at dusk.
What's going to take 2 months to come up with rules for a basketball court?
Well, so let's see. So we
should take about an hour, maybe.
Sure, an hour to discuss them, and then it'll take another hour to reevaluate, right? Just if we want to sit down and just make up rules and not give it due diligence and not give it thought, we can write them right now, right? But if we'd like to actually give it thought and consideration and put it through a process of a committee discussing it and a committee approving it and pushing it to council for all of that, I don't see it getting its full process in under 2 months. Maybe I move slower, but that's just how I see it.
I know.
I mean, if we just want to rip the Band-Aid off and name rules, well, we can do that too, I guess.
And here's the thing, though. The rules, there's very few rules I can think of that are actually going to be enforceable.
Right.
That aren't already either just laws and ordinances, and we don't need it. I mean, park closes at dark. Let's get it on there now. It's something that's enforceable. It's easy. What else are you going to do? Are you going to have a rule
I think we can figure this out in the next 15
have
minutes.
A rule about, you can't put, you can put like, oh, no alcoholic beverages, but guess what? We don't have open container here in Ohio. You don't really need that.
You could put no profanity when it closes, something about...
you can't put no profanity because I'm outside, and if I want to say the F word, I can say the F word.
Right.
I mean,
All right,
No
then.
profanity is
We'll
not-
skip that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no profanity isn't enforceable, and that there is why this needs more discussion, because
Yeah.
already you've suggested something that's not
Okay, yeah, we
enforceable.
moved on past it. Now we're not talking about that. That's what I'm saying. This is whatever. I'm tired of arguing with you guys. You don't want to do nothing. That's fine. That's fine.
we actually do want to do something. We want to.
Yeah, the next
We
couple
just
of
want to
months.
give it. We just want to give it its own space and give it its appropriate measures. Right. That's what we want to do.
If the administration wants to put up a sign saying closes at dark, or whatever they want to put on there, that's, Gene, if they
Yeah.
pass that by you, they can do that, right? It doesn't have to come through, it doesn't have to, for them to post a sign, it doesn't have to come through council, right?
I was just looking up to see what codified ordinances we have about park rules in the first place. The administration, if there's a current ordinance that says, close at dark, we can post that. The administration can, while we're looking at a more, fine-tuned set of park rules, especially for the basketball court, for instance.
Gene,
And
at this time, correct me if I'm wrong, but since it's private, the MI can post whatever they want on it.
Is it part of what is being conveyed by those deeds?
Will eventually be conveyed, yes.
Yeah, okay, but we're getting prepared for when it is
Yep.
a public park.
Right, you should,
So
I mean,
we
we know
would
that-
have to wait till it's a public park, which in essence, we'll probably start the readings at the next meeting about accepting the deeds, accepting the dedication as a park. And at that point in time, then the administration would have the ability to post park rules that are
So
in
then,
the current codified ordinances.
so then it sounds like me, the best course of action would be maybe to ask MI to put up a basketball court closes at dark sign, because
Yes.
they are the private land holder. And then
Yeah.
by the time we're done conveying the land, we can certainly have complete rules established that we can then post as village
And
land.
I
Yeah.
believe that's
And-
what Tiffany was saying she was looking to do. Was
Yeah,
actually-
and exactly. If MI posts anything right now and it's not complied with, that's a trespass.
Right.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, yeah, the park closing at dark sign sounds awesome. That'll solve the big problem right now. I can't imagine we'll need to put down, 10 or 12 plaques of rules, but give it its due diligence, obviously, and add on in the future if we need to.
yeah, I think so. I think that it needs, I just think whatever it is, if the police aren't comfortable or don't feel they can enforce it, what's the point? So, so it's whatever it is, and obviously we can always go, I mean, I always say, well, what is everybody else doing? And I just gather the list from other parks and recreation of other cities to compare. I mean, that's just the easiest thing to do. I don't think our residents want anything that's unusual, except maybe to not have basketball, but anyway. All right. Okay. So back to the agenda. All right. So is there anything else for safety?
I don't believe so. We'll schedule the next meeting on over the course of next week, so that we'll get it on a meeting in the last bit of August.
Okay. Legislation? Anything we haven't talked about?
Talked about at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of went over that at the beginning.
Yep.
I am gonna still say I'm in favor of that, now that I opened the council packet. I hadn't opened it yet. And of course, you just shared with us on your screen the change in the fence thing. I would like to get that and maybe get it done quickly. I don't know if there's stomach to do emergency, but it seems to me people are gonna be building those fences like this summer. We might, if we wait too long to get it done, by the time we get it done, it's gonna be like, oh, thanks. We've already went through all this variance stuff. Everyone's finished building their fence, and now you tell us we don't have to. I would be in favor of getting it done sooner rather than later, so people can get their fences up. And
This does not meet the criteria of an emergency or waiving readings, in my opinion.
I would agree with Tony. The wheels of construction don't move fast enough to justify, in my opinion, emergency legislation either.
Well,
But then again, you
This
guys
is
know how I
absolutely
am
something
about
that
that.
Yeah.
people would like to weigh in on, I would think. You know,
Well,
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
you guys
going
know
through-
how I am on emergencies anyway,
yeah.
so
Right,
that
this
makes
one.
We're already saying they're not comfortable with it. We'll just move forward at regular pace.
yeah, if I may, we set it up so that the 3 readings would match up pretty much when the variances would come before you. So if for some reason you wanted to jettison this, the variances would still come before you in the same time frame. If you felt that this was going to be fine the way it is, then on the 3rd reading, you can vote for an emergency. So it goes into effect right away, and everyone can proceed with getting their permits for the same variances that they've already put forward.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. So, all right, is there anything else on, let's see. So that completes our committee groups. And so the administration, Tiffany went through them pretty quickly. Did anyone have any other comments on anything she said that we want to discuss further? There was we talked about the tax levy, the leaf bids, newsletter, website, basketball court, pool, MI meeting with council on August 24th. Eric, did she say that the meeting was strictly to go through the list of open items?
MI is going to meet with you they're going to basically say, hey, we've got this done, this done, this done. We're obviously, there are some things that they can't do until it gets a little cooler, i.e. planting trees, or maybe some grass planting that happens, like especially with the basketball court, they're going to redo that. That's more as we get into cool weather to make sure the grass keeps, which I think is in everyone's interest. And then if there's anything else that comes up or any questions that the council may have, especially as we're moving towards the end here, then that is the time to speak to them about it.
Okay. So do they have an agenda, or are they just going to sit there and say, okay, talk to me?
They're going to come in and chat with you. They're going to speak to what they want to speak to, which is anything on the list. If you've got anything specific, talk to them about it. And there may be other questions that council members may have at that moment in time. So it's an opportunity to chat with them.
All right. Will they be, oh, you said they would, are they, is this a Zoom meeting or?
Well, I guess we'll see where we're going to be at the time with the COVID stuff, but I'm assuming it's going to be Zoom.
Zoom. Okay, good. Okay. Let's see. We talked about MI mowing till the end of the year, asphalt and CARES money. Okay. Then the P&Z is the next thing that's on the agenda.
P&Z.
P&Z.
Well, we
Yeah,
just
I don't-
talked about the fence legislation or whatever, I think was the
Yeah.
main thing that we talked about.
Yeah, there's an ongoing thing with pools. Obviously, there's other items they're talking about in the meeting. Some green space improvement. They're looking at pond plants, to do on a small scale, in order to see how those function within the retention ponds and how they can expand the project. So there's lots of little things they're talking about. Tony, I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch on there.
I think, what we're going to do around the basketball court is a barrier, maybe bamboo or something, some natural barriers around the basketball court.
Yeah, something definitely to the north, since those are the neighbors that are having issues with the location of it. There's a way to visually and potentially sound sensitize it.
Well,
Yeah.
that and the two people that have applied for the non-voting members of the commission, I think everybody's gotten their resumes.
Right.
They both look fantastic. If we don't get a third, it's going to be literally no competition at all.
I saw Eddie Bell. Who was the other one? I didn't catch the second one. Does anybody remember the other name?
I haven't looked at it yet either.
Yeah. I'll find it. It's fine.
And sort of is, Tony, if you have it, how's the committee looking at pools? What are they leaning towards? I
Well,
guess?
they're something along the lines of Columbus's pool rules. And there's, I guess the main, I wouldn't say sticking point, but it's pretty much the same. Over 2 feet, anything over 2 feet needs a fence around it. Until you get up to 4 feet, a pool that is 4 feet high does not require a fence around it. I mean, that's really the main thing, I guess. And what I would like to see happen is do something along the lines of Columbus's, but take it down to 3 feet. And the reason I say that is because I don't believe that a 3 foot high, or I don't believe that it's, I wouldn't say possible, but a 3 foot high pool is tall enough to prevent a child from falling into it, in my opinion. And the most popular pools that people are buying are in that area, like 30 inches to 36 inches, because if you get up to a 4 foot pool, there's a lot of people that don't want to have that big of a pool because a small child can't stand up in it. So my whole thing with the pool fencing requirements, and that's really the only thing that I'm talking about, is taking it down to 36 inches, and then the pool, and 36 inches, and you have to remove the ladder to get into the pool. That really, to me, is where the I guess the crux of the discussion will be at, is how, or whether you even want to, change that at all. If you want to make sure that people have fences around all their pools over 24 inches. And I believe that Donna is going to put together something. Well, she already has. And we'll also have that forwarded out to you and see where we're at right at this point.
All right, thanks.
I guess that's it for P&Z, I think.
Okay. Is this, what is the two people then that are, have submitted for the non-voting positions? Is it the intention of P&Z to finalize that, or?
I think it's a decision made by council.
Yeah.
Council makes that decision.
So is that just it's not a ordinance or resolution?
No, I just think we need to make a motion to accept.
At consent of council.
Huh? Okay.
And as it stands right now, there's 2 slots and 2 people, so.
Unless someone has an objection to one of the, or
Yeah.
both people for some reason.
Has the time passed for any more applications?
I don't know that there was a time
There's-
limit.
Yeah, there was no time frame on it.
Okay, we didn't set a time frame. If, yeah, I mean, how long has it been? A couple weeks now? I think that's reasonable. I mean, my application for council was, I think, 2 weeks start to finish, and I think it's been longer than that for these gentlemen.
Yeah, I believe anybody that's wanting to do it has already turned in their application.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm getting at as well.
So is this something that we want to do on Monday, or do we want to give people more time to look at it?
Well, I think we ought to take the time to look at them and try to do it on Monday.
All right,
Isn't
so
I'll be honest, I mean, I haven't even seen their applications, and there's
Yeah,
2 people, so I respect the fact that they volunteered, and be glad to have them. Unless someone shows up between now and another application comes in between now and Monday.
all right, so we'll just say, well, everybody, please look at these 2 candidates, and we'll see just so that we can ask if we're ready for a vote on this on Monday. So if everyone's looked at it, and we can go ahead and vote, and if not, we can postpone, but we'll plan to at least ask the question if people are ready.
Yep.
All right.
So just to reiterate, I said this earlier, but I won't be there on Monday, so I won't be available to vote, and that's fine by me. But I can tell, I looking at the email string, oh, never mind. What I was going to say was factually inaccurate anyways. I am not able to find the original volunteer. I found Eddie Bells, but not whoever the other one is. So if someone
Okay.
could direct where that is, that'd be
All right.
great.
Okay. Send.
Make sure that gets out.
Yeah.
All right.
Or I just found it. Never mind. Brady Oxender.
Brady
Right.
Oxender.
Yeah.
Yes,
and-
Oxender worked with state and even federal level politicians for things like this. So he definitely has the legislative and experience chops for it.
That's wonderful. Step in the right direction.
Absolutely. I mean, we got to be careful about just letting a bunch of amateurs onto the village government like me.
Yeah, it's like all of us.
Okay. All right. And well, let's see. Last note I have on here is how we. I think everyone has been. The mayor had complained that we don't answer her emails, and so I was just observing that. I think we, for the most part, people have been trying to do that. It looks like we've been doing a better job. Would you all agree?
I would.
Fine.
So keep it up. Yeah. All right. So that ends our, does anyone, let's see. We have the 4 major projects, the facility, which we have an update on, the technology infrastructure, which is I don't think, we really haven't done anything with, the lakes, and also the maintenance plan. So I think with the finance meeting, we will work, I'll alert Kim and Leah that we want to get some more information on the maintenance, some costs on current maintenance. And then I think then in terms of communications and the technology infrastructure, we just have to talk about that. I guess we just have to have a plan for that, and just figure out how to move forward on it. And of course, the lakes is the lakes.
The lakes is the lakes. That's the best way to put it.
I guess I like when it rains because I have plants, but I guess Tony would be looking for a drought again. So I don't know what to say about that.
Well, the lakes will be. Look, we'll always have the lakes to fight about. That is, that's a good constant at these uncertain times.
Right. Does anyone have anything else that they would like to work on? It is 9:30. Is that exciting or what? Anyone else?
I've had enough.
We want to enjoy the day. Don't forget the art thing is what is that, 4 to 7 or something like that?
Where is that?
Just right at the community building outside in that area.
And what exactly is it? I've never been to one before.
So and I'm not sure how many artists they have signed up. I think if you look at the Community Association page, they have a list of them. It's just local, like, hey, look, I make jewelry, or I paint pictures, or I paint turtle shells.
Okay.
They're going to set up little tables, distance. You got.
I think this might be the second time we've done this.
This is the
That's
second
the
time.
second thing.
This time they actually are going to have some music, so there'll be some music on the lawn right in front of the community center.
Food trucks, I think.
I think just one, but yeah.
There's going to be a food truck. Yeah, one food truck. Yeah.
So hopefully that'll, even people who don't know or weren't thinking of it will come down to the food truck and say, hey, what's this? And
I really need a painted turtle shell.
Yeah.
All right, and you said 4 to 7 this evening, correct?
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'll have to make it down, do some, meeting and greeting.
And we're not live, so people can't hear this, and there is the community building will be open. There'll be a person inside to point to say, yep, there's where the bathrooms are. Nope, you're not allowed back in the main area.
Cool.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Very good. Anybody else going once? Moving twice.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good
Looks
weekend,
closed.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Favor, aye. Aye.
See you guys.